When I find myself in times of trouble, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. When I fall into dark moments of silence, a whisper arises, let it be. The classic melody of the Beatles has soothed countless hearts. But have you ever wondered about the true depth of let it be? Is it resignation or weakness? Today, join me in delving into the Buddhist wisdom behind this message. This video will not stop at philosophy, but will equip you with specific practical methods to learn how to lay down the burdens in your heart and find true freedom right in the midst of daily life. Part 1. Understanding the origin of suffering. My dear friend, to truly understand the art of letting go, we must first bravely face a truth that the Buddha called the noble truth of suffering. Perhaps none of us are strangers to the feeling of dissatisfaction. It doesn't necessarily have to be great tragedies like separation by death. Sometimes it is just the frustration of a traffic jam, the disappointment when a message is not replied to, or a vague anxiety about tomorrow. The Buddha taught that suffering is an inevitable part of human life, but he also pointed out that most of that pain does not come from external circumstances, but from our own consciousness. So what is the deep root of those sufferings? It is attachment, also known as clinging and misguided expectations. We suffer because we want impermanent things to last forever. We want the person we love never to change, want health to always be robust, and want everything to happen exactly according to our will. But life is inherently an endless flow of unpredictable variables. When reality unfolds contrary to the script in your head, an internal conflict arises. Imagine this. When you are hit by an arrow, that is unavoidable physical pain. But right after, you shoot yourself with a second arrow by complaining, blaming, and resisting that reality. You ask why this happened to me. I do not accept it. It is this resistance, this second arrow, that causes the wound to become deep and persistently painful. I want you to stop for a second, breathe deeply, and honestly ask yourself this question. What was the most recent thing that made you feel tired and exhausted? Was it really because the event was so terrible? Or was it because your mind was screaming, demanding it to be different from what was happening? When you realize that resistance is the fuel that nourishes suffering, you have touched the door of liberation. The Buddha not only diagnosed the illness, but also prescribed the medicine. That is the Noble Eightfold Path, the eight-limbed path that helps us train the right view to change how we react to life. Letting go is not resignation, but stopping shooting the second arrow at yourself. That is the first step to finding peace amidst unsatisfactory things. Part 2. The Beauty of Impermanence. We often suffer because we crave eternity in a world whose nature is change. We want youth to stay forever, want love to be as passionate as the first day, want loved ones never to leave. But the Buddha called the truth of this universe impermanence, anicca. This means nothing, absolutely nothing, remains in the same state for 2 consecutive moments. From the clouds in the sky, the flow of emotions in the heart, to every cell in your body, everything is in the dance of birth and death. Clinging to what has passed is the source of pain. Imagine life as a swift river. If you try to use your hands to grasp the water tightly, hoping to keep that flow for yourself, what will be the result? The tighter you squeeze, the faster the water flows through your fingers, and eventually, you are left with only emptiness and fatigue. But if you relax your hands, gently dipping them into the river, you will feel the coolness and liveliness of the water flowing by. Letting go is the act of opening that palm. Let me tell you a small story where perhaps many of us see ourselves. I once talked to a woman who was immersed in depression for 3 years after her marriage broke down. She kept the room of memories intact, looking at old photos every day and tormenting herself. Why did he change? Why didn't happiness stay? She suffered not because of the separation itself, but because she was trying to build a dam to stop the river of life that had flowed in another direction. She was holding on to a corpse of the past instead of letting it flow away so new life could sprout. When we deeply understand impermanence, our attitude towards life changes completely. Instead of fearing loss, we begin to cherish the present more intensely. Look at a rose. It is magnificently beautiful and precious precisely because it will fade. If the flower were made of plastic and bloomed forever, it would no longer make our hearts flutter. Impermanence is not sad news. It is good news. Thanks to impermanence, your pain today will not last forever. Thanks to impermanence, the cold winter will give way to the warm spring. Understanding this, you will learn not to be too complacent when successful and not too despairing when failing. You will learn to flow with the river instead of straining against it. And when you accept that everything is only temporary, every moment lived suddenly becomes more brilliant and meaningful than ever. Part 3. True love is freedom, non-attachment. When we have understood the flow of impermanence, the mind will naturally guide us to a higher lesson, which is the art of non-attachment, especially in love. There is a harmful confusion that most of us fall into, which is equating love with possession. We often say, my lover, my children, my spouse. That word, my, that feeling of ownership, is the source of all tragedies and suffering in relationships. The Buddha taught that in essence we do not truly own anyone in this life. Every soul comes to the world with its own journey, karma, and lessons. We are merely companions, lucky to walk together for a segment of the road, not the owners of others' lives. To visualize the beauty of non-attached love most clearly, I want you to close your eyes and imagine a beautiful little bird suddenly flying to land gently on your palm. That moment is magical and happy. Your heart vibrates with the beauty of life present right on your hand. But right then, fear appears. You are afraid the bird will fly away. By the instinct of possession, you begin to clench your hand, trying to lock the bird in your fist to keep it forever. What is the consequence? The bird will be terrified, struggle to escape, and if you squeeze too tight, you might unintentionally hurt or even suffocate its life. Then, the beauty you yearn to preserve is gone, leaving only suffocation and death. Conversely, non-attached love is like keeping your palm always open. The bird perches there, safe and free. It can sing, it can dance, and when it wants to fly away to explore the sky, you smile and watch without resentment, because you know the sky is where it belongs. And the miracle is, precisely because of the freedom and safety you provide, that bird will always want to return to land on your hand whenever its wings are tired. In romantic love or family affection, it is exactly the same. We often use love to control others. We want our children to live according to our will, want our spouse to change to fit our expectations. That is not love. That is imprisonment wrapped in a sweet shell. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh once said a very profound sentence that you must love in such a way that the person you love feels free. Non-attachment does not mean you become cold, indifferent, or no longer care about anyone. Absolutely not. It means you love them completely, care for them wholeheartedly in the present moment, but you respect their private space and their choices. You do not base your happiness on whether they stay or not, or whether they do as you wish or not. When you let go of the need to possess and control, the burden in your heart will drop. You will no longer be blindly jealous, no longer fear loss. Love at this time becomes pure, light as clouds in the sky. That is the kind of love that brings healing, where both the giver and receiver feel cherished and free to be themselves. Remember, you only truly have what you set free. Part 4. The power of patience and acceptance, my dear friend. In this bustling modern life, there is a psychological disease that almost all of us suffer from, which is impatience. We want everything to happen immediately. Messages must be answered instantly, food must be served fast, and success must come early. But what is the root of impatience? It is the conflict between your expectation and the reality taking place. You have a script in your head that this should only take 5 minutes, but in reality, it takes 20 minutes. That 15-minute gap is where suffering and anger breed. We suffer not because we have to wait, but because we are resisting the waiting. Let's take a very relatable example. You are standing in line to pay at the supermarket during rush hour, or stuck in traffic under the midday sun. This is when the real challenge begins. What is our usual reaction? We constantly look at the watch, sigh, stomp our feet, and toxic thoughts start in our head. Why is the person in front so slow? Why me? I am wasting time uselessly. The result is your heart rate increases, blood pressure rises, and you bring a big lump of anger home to dump on your loved ones. But most importantly, does the line move faster because of your annoyance? Absolutely not. You are only punishing yourself. But a person with the wisdom of letting go will view this situation completely differently. They realize this is not an obstacle, but a great opportunity to practice. Instead of resisting reality, I don't want to be here, they choose to accept, I am here, right now. So how do we practice this acceptance right when anger flares up? I suggest to you 4 specific transformation steps. First, return to the breath. As soon as you feel frustration rising, breathe slower. The breath is the anchor holding you back, not letting anger sweep you away. Inhale deeply and exhale long, telling yourself, I am breathing, I am peaceful. Second, observe thoughts. Look at the complaining thoughts in your head like whining children. Do not identify with them. Recognize, impatience is appearing. Just observe without judging. The negative energy will automatically decrease. Third, adjust perspective. This is the most important step. Change the meaning of the situation. Instead of viewing waiting time as dead time, view it as gift time. The universe is gifting you 10 rare minutes of free time to rest, to do nothing. Enjoy those 10 minutes to relax your legs, observe people around, or simply live slowly. Fourth, trust in the natural process. Look at nature. A flower never blooms faster just because you stand there shouting at it. Spring does not come earlier just because you hate winter. Everything has its own rhythm, divine timing. A delay is sometimes life's way of protecting you from an accident ahead, or for you to meet a certain karmic connection. When you learn to be patient and accept reality as it is, you will find life suddenly becomes much lighter. You no longer waste energy banging your head against stone walls. You become soft like water, following the flow. That is the spirit of let it be. Not helplessness, but absolute harmony with the rhythm of the universe. Part 5. Mindfulness. the key to awakening. My dear friend, if you look deep into the cause making us feel tired and suffering every day, you will see its root often lies in distraction. Our body is here, but our mind is drifting somewhere very far away. When eating, we worry about work. When walking, we are engrossed in scrolling through the phone. We live like sleepwalkers, drifting through days without truly touching life. It is this absence that makes us easily swept into unconscious reactions, getting angry at whatever is said, anxious about whatever happens. Mindfulness, understood most simply, is the art of bringing the mind back to the body in the present moment. It is the ability to clearly recognize what is happening inside and outside oneself without judgment. When there is mindfulness, you will have the ability to stop. Instead of reacting immediately according to old habits, you create a silence for wisdom to speak. That is when you practice let it be. You let everything happen as it is, and you just quietly observe. You don't need to go to high mountains or enter temples to practice mindfulness. You can turn every ordinary action into a miracle. Try practicing mindfulness through eating. When you put a piece of food in your mouth, stop all thoughts. Feel the full flavor, texture, and heat of the food. Don't eat projects, don't swallow worries. Just eat food. Practice through footsteps. When you walk from the house to the car or walk in the park, be conscious of every touch of your feet on the ground. Feel the stability of Mother Earth supporting you. Each mindful step will take you out of the prison of thought and back to freedom. Practice through listening. When someone talks to you, let go of the intention to prepare an answer in your head. Just listen. Listen with your whole heart. That is the greatest gift you can give to another. And most importantly, practice through the breath. The breath is the rope anchoring you to peace, Mo. For you to feel its power right now, I invite you to join me in a small exercise for 30 seconds. Whatever you are doing, pause. Relax your shoulders. Gently close your eyes or look down at a fixed point. Inhale deeply through your nose, conscious that life is entering your body. Exhale gently through your mouth, conscious that you are letting go of all tension on your face. Inhale. Mind is still. Exhale. Mouth smiles. Return here. Now. Do you see? Just 30 seconds of returning to the breath. Your mind has separated from the noisy flow and found balance again. Carry this breath anchor with you. Whenever life becomes unbearable, return to take refuge in the breath. Mindfulness is the lamp illuminating, helping you see through everything so you can smile and say, "Let it be." My dear friend, closing today's journey, I want to send you a final message to carry as your own provision. Please engrave in your heart that letting go is completely different from abandoning or giving up. Abandoning is the attitude of discouragement, weakness, and irresponsibility. Letting go is the attitude of great wisdom and deep courage. It is when you have tried your best to sow the best seeds, but you are brave enough not to cling to when the flower will bloom. Letting go is trust. It is trusting in the natural rhythm of the universe. Just as the sun sets and will rise, winter passes and spring inevitably comes. You don't need to worry or remind the sun to rise. The universe has its perfect arrangement. Your life is the same. What belongs to you will find you. What needs to go, let it go to make room for better things coming. When you dare to release the steering wheel of control, you do not fall into the abyss. On the contrary, That is when you allow the great flow of life to support you, taking you to peaceful shores that sometimes the calculation of reason could never foresee. Breathe gently, smile, and whisper to yourself, let it be. If this video has touched your heart and helped you shed some of the burden in your heart, please share your favorite lesson in the comments below. Your sincere sharing will be a source of inspiration for the community and for me. Don't forget to press the subscribe button so we can continue to accompany each other on the path to finding balance and awakening. Thank you for listening. May you always be steadfast and at ease amidst the changing currents of life. Goodbye and see you again.